right, guys, good to be back with you all. Sorry, it's been a couple days. I've been feeling a little bit under the weather. It's been cold as heck here this entire week. Monday was like in the 20s or the 30s. Then it was in between the 30s and the 40s all week. Dust, kicking up on the yard. And, as I mentioned before, we were out there just studying for our test pre-trip, and I just got under the weather, started feeling a little bit sick on Wednesday, and it just carried through to today, migraines and stuff. But it's starting. I think I'm through the worst of it now. But yeah, I did. Great news. Great news update. I have passed my pre-trip test, which is great. From that, I'm gonna say don't stress it, man. Do not stress your pre-trip test. If like I said before, if you do it the Schneider way, you got it. If you do it, if you just focus on, they give you the materials. Just focus on doing that, but just don't get in your head about it. I know some people that, will get in their head about it, and it's natural, right? You want to do your best, but just don't overstress it, man. Don't lose sleep over it, because you'll do fine if you just dedicate some time to studying the materials they give you. You'll do perfectly fine. But with that being said, I have been getting some comments and messages from people that are coming to Schneider soon, and they wanted to know. I'm getting a lot of the same messages. What to bring, what to expect on your first couple of days. So I wanted to dedicate a video to doing that, or to answering those questions. First thing, one of the more recent comments I got mentioned about completing after you talk to your recruiter, they send you an email and it has some information, your travel information, and whatnot. And it also have for you to complete the clearinghouse, which is like how the government tracks, I guess, like infractions against you. It's like a government website. It keeps track of, like, if you have any like DUIs, I think, or anything like that. And it's more importantly, it's like a what do you call that thing? It's like a security check. It's like a security check website. You can fill it out before you get here, or you can fill it out on the day you get here, or the first day of your orientation. A lot of the stuff that they recommend you do before you get here, like your medical. Well, of course, you have to have your DOT card if your state requires. See, my state, South Carolina, required that I get my DOT card before I even got my permit. I couldn't even test for my permit without getting my DOT card. And your DOT card is pretty much, it's like a physical. It's just you're literally taking a physical. You can go to a doctor's care or urgent care is usually what people go to. Now, I found that they charge like $100 and something. I found a place. I just searched on Google, DOT physicals near me, and it was a place that was just charging $55. I found it for cheap. They went in, went out. It was like 30 minutes, and I was done. And they gave me my DOT physical. I was able to go and get my permit, and that was good. You have to get a hair follicle test as well, and then do the clearinghouse. So those three things, if you did it, great. If your state didn't require you to do the DOT physical, you can do it when you get here, or your recruiter will ask you to do it before you come. But they do have somebody on site, or a way where you can do that. Maybe not on site, way that you can do that when you get here as well. But I would highly recommend you contact your recruiter if you're having issues getting to a place to do your DOT physical, or a place to do your hair follicle test and your urine test as well. Those are the things that they require. But you have to have your permit. So if your state requires your DOT physical to get your permit, then you have to get a DOT physical. If they don't, great. But you have to have your permit. And remember, your permit means nothing without your license. Can't stress that enough. So make sure you bring, just like when you go, to orientation for a new job, you have to have your license, your permit in this case, your license and your permit. Your CDL permit doesn't mean anything without your license. You can't just drive with a CDL permit. If you look on there, it's going to say this is not a official license or something like that, to that effect. I have mine in my bag, but it will say, you need to carry your license with this. So your CDL permit, your license as well, and make sure you have another form of identification. I use my my passport, but you can use a social security card. You can use a birth certificate and a social security card. Like that sheet you always get at a new job. It'll give you 3 sections, A, B, and C, for you to choose your identification. But make sure you have your permit, your CDL, and at least your social security card or your passport. Birth certificate, social security card, that combination, or your passport if you have a passport. At least your social security card. If you don't have a passport, of course you can bring your birth certificate as well. But your recruiter should have sent you that email letting you know as well. So look over that. Beyond that, the recruiter in that same email is also going to tell you some clothes and things and some items you might want to bring. Well, I'm going to tell you, right? So you're going to be in the hotel a minimum of 2 weeks. A minimum of 2 weeks you're going to be in that hotel. Your first week, like I said in my previous videos, you're doing classwork and things like that. Your second week, you're on the yard. You're learning some the fundamentals of backing and trying to get comfortable behind the wheel if you haven't been before. So those are the first 2 weeks you're going to be at a minimum. I say at a minimum because you could still be in there even more depending on the availability of a training, depending on the size of your class, depending on the availability of training engineers to take you out. So now, like I said, this is a paid program, so you are getting funds in, but if you're like me, you still have bills, right? So that money is getting applied elsewhere, so I want to save money where I can. So for me, I went to Walmart when I got here. Usually they'll place you in. Now we're right across from a Walmart here, but I mean usually before you turn in your however you got here, usually it's going to be about rental. But before you turn your rental in, I advise you go to a grocery store with the thought in mind, all right, I'm going to be here for at least 2 weeks. Now, you don't have to get 2 weeks worth of groceries because you only got a small fridge, right? But, get something that at least lasts you for the week. For me, I got some burritos, some canned food, some little drinks, some snacks. That way I don't have to order out, use DoorDash or Uber Eats or things like that. That's wasting money. And then they'll feed you breakfast. Now, it might not be the best breakfast. Might be some complaints about it, but it's breakfast, right? It'll get you to lunch. And they'll feed you lunch. They'll give you lunch at the operating center, the OC, which is not bad at all. I actually look forward to it. It's pretty good. They throw down in there. Somebody's grandma is in there cooking. I'm telling you, now this is for Charlotte, but it'd be good. I look especially forward to the hot dogs, because the chili be banging. Like they put a little sugar in the chili. But that's not a here nor there. Not here nor there. But what I would say is just make sure you bring, before you turn your rental in, because most of y'all, if you live farther away, they're going to order you a rental car. Before you turn that rental car in, get here a little bit early, go to a grocery store, and, chalk up on your, sorry, chalk up on your food for the week, snacks and things like that. I also got some cereal and milk and put in there. So yeah, keep that in mind. Close your eyes, look up the weather. Most areas on the east side as well, East Coast mostly, and Midwest. Like right now, if you're coming around this time period, wintertime, it's gonna be cold. I would pack a heavy coat, a jacket, a sweater. You want to pack some, of course, like, multiple socks. Try to get some underwear, that'll last. And I don't want to get too personal, but I want to let you know what I wish I would have known before I came here, right? So make sure you have enough underwear. I would say to last at least a week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks, because they do have laundry at the operating center, but you don't want to be dragging your whole laundry at the, on the bus. So, and I'll go over the transportation to the operating center a little bit towards the end, but you don't want to be dragging full, bags of laundry on the bus unless you do. If you do, you do. I don't care. No, but they do have laundry at the operating center you can use. I don't know if it's free. It might be free. I haven't used it. I use the, luckily, we have a laundry room here at the hotel that's like, I think it's like $3 total, $150 to wash and $150 to dry, which has been working out for me. But I bought enough underwear and clothes so I don't have to really do that until maybe the weekends, just to keep it rolling, but I could last out a couple of weeks. But what I did wish I knew, well, I knew, I know the season, so I knew it was coming. I just didn't think it was going to be this cold. Give me 1 second. One second. Sorry about that. But yeah, I didn't know it was going to be this cold. And this, being on that yard is kind of dusty. So, when we were moving the trucks, there it kicks up the dust and it'll get to you. So, of course, have your, your face mask. I don't know what the, protocols are, the policies, the state policies are there, but just, be kind of respectful, of the policies when you're close together, at least on the bus, because it's not just COVID going around, of course, that you have to keep in mind. It's the flu, the cold, which is what I have. It's not just COVID running around. So they got flu-rona going around, flu and COVID at the same time. So it's crazy time. So just be respectful of that. Beyond clothes, right? So another thing you're going to need to keep in mind, and I mentioned this on my first video, they will provide you with boots if you don't have any, or if you don't want to get any, because they have to be, I think, weatherproof, waterproof, slip resistant, and like steel toe boots. But they'll provide you with boots. They'll take it out of your second check. I noticed that they didn't take it out of my first check. They took it out of my second check, but it was $50, which wasn't much for the type of boots, because they're pretty good boots. I know they look dusty, but pretty good boots. Georgia Giant boots. Yeah, pretty good boots, but those are $50. So, You don't need to worry about that if you don't need to. Bring a pair of sneakers, because you only need to wear those boots on the yard. When you're out on the yard and around the OC, you need those boots or a pair of boots, certified boots, and your vest when you're on the yard. But when you're out with your TE and out, around the hotel, of course, you can wear whatever shoes you would like. So sneakers, slippers, or whatever. Don't forget your bathroom products. For the women, you need whatever hygiene products, feminine products you do. The men, you need whatever hygiene products you need. Toothbrush, toothpaste. Usually hotels carry it, but it's the hotel brand, so it might not be up to your quality. So bring that. I know some hotels. My hotel, I asked before I came. I knew what hotel I was coming to, and I asked about. I have a little crock pot, and while I'm at, I use my crock pot. And I asked before I came, and they said it wasn't an issue. It wasn't above a certain voltage or something like that. But I called and asked, and they said it wasn't an issue. So that was that. But that's just something I thought about. This could save me money, so I bought a crock pot, and it helps me out with saving money. I can make a meal that'll last for a certain number of days. But don't forget your hygiene products and your bathroom, your bathroom products. They usually, and I think this is more because of COVID rather than Schneider people taking up the whole entire hotel, because I don't think we do, even with our size of the class. But I think it's because of COVID. They only will service your room anywhere from 3 days to every 4 days. The first hotel I was at was the Comfort Inn here in Charlotte, and it was every 3 days. The hotel I'm at now, the Holiday Inn, is every 4 days. Keep that in mind. Now, you can always go down to the front desk and ask for any additional towels if you need it. But they usually supply you up with enough that'll last that given time, whatever it may be, 3 or 4 days. Enough towels and washcloths and bath mats or whatever to last you those number of days. But you can always go down and ask for those. But if you don't trust that, then of course bring your towels and your bring your own towels and washcloths. Just keep in mind that's extra laundry you're gonna have to bring as well and wash. Like I said, I don't know specifically if it's free at Schneider. I think it's very cheap from what I remember, but it's not free. But I'll come back on that. What else? So what I did, I can't sleep when it's hot, and I don't want to take the chance with an air conditioner here at the hotel. Although this hotel's air conditioner is pretty good, I can't sleep when it's hot, so I bought my fan. And you can bring a fan, but that's something to remember. If you need an extra pillow or some back support or something like that, just keep in mind. Keep in mind you're going to be going for an extended period of time. However, you need to get restful sleep. Bring whatever you need to get that, because that is very important. Even when you're out on the road later on, keep up those habits that get you that very needed sleep. You need that. If you don't, if you don't get enough sleep, that's going to hurt you in the classroom, and it's definitely going to hurt you over the road. So keep that in mind. Whatever you need to get to sleep, bring that with you. When you finish your first 2 weeks, and I'm gonna just say a minimum of 2 weeks because it might be longer. I'm gonna say whenever you go out with your TE, that's when you're on the road. You're actually behind the wheel. They're gonna ask you. Now with us, they expected us to do a minimum of 2,000 miles over those next 2 weeks. So you finish the first 2 weeks. Now, when you go out with your TE for 2 weeks on the road, you're going to be doing about 2,000 miles. be ready for that. You're going to probably have to, more than likely, unless you're with, unless you're like with a male TE and you're female, or you're a male TE, or you're a male with a female TE, you're probably going to be sleeping on the truck, more than likely. Sleeping on the truck while you're out on the road. I went to Walmart and I bought and it's in my truck, or it's in my car. I bought a sleeping bag. And that sleeping bag, I bought an extra large sleeping bag, and it works perfectly fine. You can buy a blanket to go with it, but it works perfectly fine. I bought a sleeping bag and a couple of pillows. Works perfectly fine. They have air conditioner in the truck if you need it, or heat, of course, in the truck if you need it. Just keep that in mind as well. You might need to sleep on the truck. And then in the mornings, your TE, whoever's staying in the room, if you're on the truck, they'll let you know when you are able to go into the room and use the restroom, and also take a shower and things like that. So be prepared for that. That happens over the road in the TE, and they'll go over that in more detail. But you don't need to necessarily buy it before you get here, but just be aware that might be something you need to buy, is sleeping bags, some pillows, for when you do need to get on the trucks. I say that because you might end up staying in a hotel. My TE had me stay in the hotel. And so although I bought the sleeping bag and things, I didn't really need it at the time, but I still have it. I didn't return it because I might need it later on when I get my own truck, or I probably will. Okay, what else? I'm just looking around my room. A book bag. Oh my God. A book bag is, I wish I bought a book bag. I bought this thing, which is like a little gym bag, but just bring a book bag. It don't even have to be a big book bag. Just a book bag, because you carry around. I told you, they give you this big thick book. They expect you to have that with you at all times, studying, and you should. But there's like other pamphlets and things. You got your Schneider tablet as well that you keep your logs and stuff on, that you keep with you. But it's just easier to have a book bag and a place to put things. So bring a little book bag, little school book bag. Go to Walmart, get one for $10 or whatever. Just make sure it's durable enough to carry, carry your things in. Now, I went out being extra and bought things like knee pads and stuff, and knee pads, flashlights. You don't need that necessarily. You don't need it necessarily. In your first 2 weeks, you don't need it. When you're out on the road, I didn't use it. I just bought the stuff unnecessarily, I guess. If you want it, if you have problems getting on your knees, there is at some point you should, you will be going under the truck. You don't necessarily have to be on your knees. You could just be near, but maybe you need a knee pad. So buy them. Go to Walmart. They sell them for $5, things like that. But don't just go out and buy everything. You can wait till you get here and judge what you can buy, or what you should buy. I would say the most important thing is maybe a book bag, some pens, paper, maybe a little notebook for you to write down some notes. You don't need a calculator really if you have a phone. All that knee pads and extra flashlights and stuff, no. What you need to bring is additional clothes. Have some, maybe a little bit of cash on hand at the beginning. Make sure you get your groceries at the beginning, before you drop your rental off if you don't have a car. The bus situation, so I was going to talk about that. They do provide transportation from the hotel to the operating center. It usually comes around about 6 o'clock. For me, I have to wake up at 5. You be down there by 6. And the bus will come pick you up and take you to the operating center every morning. And your hotel should provide you breakfast. And then they should actually have breakfast where you can pay for it or use one of your lunch tickets to get some breakfast at the operating center if they're there that early. But beyond that, I think that's it. Like I said, on another note, I did pass my my pre-trip, so now I'm working on my backing. And you'll see some, explanation videos on that coming up soon. But if you have any more questions at all about, what to expect or what to bring or any questions at all, just, comment down below, like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace.